MotorWeek is made possible by Rock Auto and Tire Rack.
Despite Ford's promise of the best handling Continental ever, we just couldn't see thrashing it around our test track. A nice day of touring seemed more in order. So just as the leaves were starting to show their colors in October, we set out for the Catoctin Mountains of Maryland to see what the typical luxury car buyer might think of this new Continental.
You wouldn't mistake this car for anything but a Lincoln. The familiar upright grille, flanked by 4 tightly packed headlights, is a dead giveaway. The classic body style is probably the cleanest looking Continental in many years. There are, mind you, plenty of old Lincoln trademarks, lots of chrome, though more tastefully done than in the past, and the traditional trunk tire hump. This year, another hump has been added, with rear styling borrowed from the Cadillac Seville, which borrowed it from an antique Rolls-Royce. You may not appreciate its looks, but it does have its advantage. When you open the trunk, you have to be impressed with its size, although the floor is anything but flat. The deep, fur-like carpet should give our luggage a wonderful ride. A quick check under the hood was also in order before the trip began. Our car came with the optional 5-liter V8. The Continental can also be had with a new 3.8-liter V6. With all the accessories on this car, it is crowded under the hood, but then Lincoln owners aren't likely to do much repair work themselves. Obviously, everything about this car says posh. The reclining power front seats are firmer than you expect, but very comfortable. 3 passengers plus a chauffeur should fit very nicely. When you look at the dash, there's not much to see, just a long black ribbon from door to door. That is until you turn the key, then everything lights up. The instruments are all electronic, of course, and that includes speedometer, fuel, and temperature gauge. In the middle, you'll find a 12-button onboard computer that will call up the time of day, distance traveled, and a host of other data to make even boring interstate highways much more fun for the passengers. Finally, we're ready to go. Pulling out of the studio parking lot was uneventful as we headed towards the Appalachians. The first segment of our trip covers a 10-mile stretch of State Highway 140. This 4-lane concrete road has lots of expansion joints and age patches. Not one of them bothered the driver. All I could feel was the barest minimum vibration that comes through the otherwise numb rack and pinion steering. 4-lane highways were made for Continentals. You can drive all day with cruise control comfort in a car that's one of the quietest we've ever heard, or not heard. The first town en route is Westminster. During the Civil War, both the Union and Confederate armies camped here within a gunshot of each other the night before the Battle of Gettysburg. We made a turn here off of 140 onto some of the back roads of Maryland. This is one of my favorite straightaways, long and rolling. The Continental's acceleration was good, with plenty of power for passing or modest hills. The 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission was nice and smooth, except for a clunk when shifting from first to second gear. The soft McPherson front suspension is remarkably well controlled. The Continental has special suspension parts, including gas-filled shock absorbers, to ensure that a smooth ride doesn't have to be like raw marshmallows. The National Historic District community of Uniontown and the farming village of Middleburg came up quickly. Because you're so isolated in this car, you often find you're going faster than you should. A quick application of the brakes brought us back to reality. These are some of the most secure-feeling brakes I've ever encountered on an American luxury car. The Continental has disc brakes at all 4 wheels. Though a bit touchy, they made sure you stopped when and where you wanted to. Crossing Route 194, we go quickly through Keymar, near the home of Francis Scott Key, author of the Star-Spangled Banner. Near here, we ride on some very poor sections of road. I was surprised again how well the Continental took ruts and uneven surfaces without any abnormal bouncing or lurching. Thurmont, Maryland was our last stop before heading into the Catoctins. This base town is the hangout for Washington brass and the news media when the president is weekending at nearby Camp David. Up the steep, slow, windy roads to the summit, the Connie confirms that it's more at home on flat straightaways. The engine doesn't strain, but there is a lot of downshifting just to keep up the pace. The body rolls little through the narrow curves, and I found I was able to spend more time admiring the fall colors than driving. Even luxury cars have to meet corporate fuel economy goals. The EPA rates the Connie at 17 city and 26 highway. Our trip measured 19 miles per gallon. Continental owners probably won't care. The new Lincoln Continental is everything that a luxury buyer could want, but in a smaller and much better controlled package. It may not be our cup of tea, but then the American automakers know a market when they see one. The high-priced ride is smooth and the brakes are good, and it's full of the latest electronic gadgets. It was a beautiful fall day and just the right time to leave the car parked under a shedding tree for these final pictures. In the future, Ford may make a turbo diesel out of this luxury sedan, and there's even a rumor that a real hot rod Lincoln with stiff suspension and high-performance engine and tires is in the works. Ford obviously thinks that the tougher Lincoln just might someday attract a lot of BMW and Mercedes buyers. Not yet, we say, but with the dramatic change in thinking that the '82 Continental represents, you never can tell.